So we just watched the latest Louis C.K. clip from the Conan show where he talks about why he's not getting his daughters a cell phone. And you can find it on YouTube. It's absolutely genius. And he talks about something in the chat room. People are saying, Varden Photo says, it's so weird that comedians are one of the greatest sources of truth. And it's really, it's something that really makes you think. I mean, it's funny, but it hits hard. And one of the things that he talks about is that, the instinct that, one of the things that we talk about here a lot is that, we live in a culture now that has no stillness. And what Louis mentions in is that it's in that stillness that we often confront the loneliness, the sadness, the emptiness that is very much a part of the human condition. That is what keeps us seeking connection and sometimes keeps us seeking shallow pursuits that stuff the hole. Things like food, things like buying things. And his argument is that in this modern world, when we have a cell phone, we can fill the hole with, likes and chit-chat and contact and communication that is not a real connection, but it keeps us from ever experiencing the emptiness and the loneliness. And his point that he makes is that it is through the loneliness that we experience depth of emotion that then allows and opens ourselves to the depth of joy and positive emotion and lets the love in. And if we keep pushing it away, avoiding the opening of our heart to the sadness, we close our heart to everything. It's kind of very much like the Jungian idea of shadow impulses, where if you are always afraid and don't want to face any sort of negativity or any impulse that comes from our subconscious that is scary or weird or frightening or sad, we close the access. We don't let anything through, and so we live much more shallow, and we don't allow the profound joy, the profound creativity, and these profound human experiences to come through. And I find myself thinking about that a lot because I find myself going to a cell phone all the time. What was tripped me out and made me go, whoa, is it, when I watched this video? While I was sitting in a public toilet, I was so eager and motivated to fill the emptiness that one of the few times in my life when I'm truly alone, sitting on the toilet, I filled the vacuum with entertainment. Now, I turned it off when I heard someone else come into the bathroom, but the point is that if I was in a perfect place to hear this message. And it's also important for me to hear because, with the idea of crap or cone, again, unrelated to the bathroom, but the idea of focusing on the positive, I think there is this instinct and this feeling that, we need to avoid having negative thoughts or avoid feeling negative things, negative meaning sadness or loneliness. And I think part of that conclusion, there's a flaw in that, which is a very subtle thing. It's one reason why I want to watch this and explain, which is that, there's a difference between feeling loneliness and sadness and dwelling on problems and dwelling on what's wrong and focusing on the things that give you anxiety and stress, which I think is what focusing on crap is as opposed to cone. Now, feeling some of the human emotion, feeling a longing for a person or a feeling of loneliness or feeling that doesn't necessarily have to be a negative thing. In fact, I think one of the big opportunities is to stop judging an experience like that and allow it to be an experience of humanity and of being like, oh my gosh, I feel so profoundly right now. It's an intense feeling. What a gift of being a human being. And if I feel like it's wrong or I can't have it, then it becomes this bad thing, this negative thing. It becomes crap, but it doesn't have to be. It can be a profound thing. Like if you ever had an experience where you cry from joy, it can be not just because of happiness. It can be from just this overwhelming experience of the depth of being a human being. You know, in the same way, there was a time in my life when I got my first nipple pierced that it was horrible and painful, and I had just very negative thoughts about it. 10 years later, I got the second one pierced, and I had a different headspace about the whole experience, and I experienced it not as a negative thing, but as an intensity, a moment of dramatic intensity that I value as a profound experience. And I think that what Louis C.K. is pointing out is that, you know, if you never let it get deep and profound because you're afraid of it being a bad thing or afraid of it hurting, then you keep your experience of life shallow. And I think that this is a deeper subject than maybe I can cover right now in this moment, but how to reconcile a crapper cone focusing on what's good while also making room for what does not maybe feel like good in the moment. You know, as I mentioned, my grandpa, crapper cone doesn't mean ignoring everything negative. He wrote letters to his congressman every day, and there are videos of him where I asked him about things like war, and he goes, you can see him just like this quick, just feel the hurt. And he said he would watch the McNeil-Lear report every week, and it would scroll the names of all the young people that had died in the war. And he watched it because he wanted to, you know, not to dwell in the crap, but he wanted to make sure that his heart was open to that. I'm only now getting that, you know, that the experience of humanity is all of it, and not having attachment to the way it should be. And then recognizing the difference between that and dwelling on something that continually causes you suffering as opposed to pain. That loneliness is the pain. The suffering is the beating yourself up about why you don't have more people in your life. But you don't ever get to even the pain of it if you put a barrier between it and the experience with food, with material things, or with constant Facebook updates. And I am taking that to heart and trying to integrate that into my life. If you notice, since I watched that video, I haven't posted much all weekend, and I think part of it is because of this video. So let's do this. Let's just take 10, 30 seconds and just be with ourselves. Think about someone that we long for, we miss. Maybe someone that's passed on. Let's just hold them in our thoughts and miss them. I often focus on trying to think of them laughing or smiling, and we can think about that too, but also let's be aware of the absence in our life. I often think of pain as being the echoes of a shout of joy. When I go to the temple at Burning Man and I see all these messages of sadness and longing and loss, it's like so hard to sit with it. But at the same time, it is, none of this pain exists if there wasn't a joyous experience to cause this ripple. And I think in essence that's what Louis C.K. is pointing out. That if you want to save yourself from ripples of pain, you isolate yourself from all the good stuff too. So thank you, Louis C.K. And thank you, Grandpa Caleb. And thank you, everyone who is having the courage to sit with their sadness and their loneliness, and also the courage to use that as fuel to open your heart and pursue joy. Thank you.